After adding a number of crossovers in recent years, Audi's all-electric lineup is finally getting a new sedan. What's up, folks? I'm Dave Undercoffler, editor-in-chief of Autolist.com, a sister company to CarGurus. This is Audi's all-new A6 e-tron. It's an all-electric sedan aimed at the likes of BMW's i5 and Mercedes-Benz EQE sedan. It joins the gas-powered A6 in Audi's lineup, and this new version packs almost 400 miles of all-electric range, impressive fast-charging speeds, and plenty of tech and comfort on the inside. So is all that enough to top its German rivals? Let's go spend some time with it and find out. But before we do, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. All right, let's start by taking a look at the exterior of this A6 e-tron, but before we do, a quick word on trims. This car starts at about $66,000 for a rear-wheel drive premium model. Then there's a Premium Plus, which is about $70,000, and then finally the Prestige, which is about $72,000. Now, all of those prices are for the rear-wheel drive versions. You can add Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive system, which adds a second motor, to any of those trims for another $2,000. The model we're testing today is the Prestige rear-wheel drive, so everything you see here is about $75,000, including destination. All right, now let's take a look at the exterior. And this car is definitely very sleek, and I like that. It's got Audi's new design language. This is a look you're gonna see on Audi's Q6 e-tron. That's the crossover all-electric version of this sedan, but very sleek in the front. I like this. Audi's new logo here is now illuminated at night. That's pretty cool. You also have this filled-in grille. Remember, electric cars don't need the same cooling. So overall, very sleek and futuristic without being too weird up front. And yes, everyone always asks about EVs and whether they have a frunk. There is a small one right under this hood. Turning to the side, you can see the really sleek proportions of this A6 e-tron. In terms of size, it's about 4 inches shorter than BMW's i5, but it's about the same length as Mercedes EQE sedan. A couple of other things to point out. You do have flush door handles, which is all in vogue with EVs these days. Our tester has 20-inch alloy wheels and then charge ports on either side of the car. That's a nice feature. Finally, at the back, the sleek trend definitely continues. You've got this horizontal light bar running across the car. This Audi emblem also illuminates at night. One thing I don't like is the styling does feel kind of generic. It feels almost like a Kia, no offense to Kia, but this is a $75,000 car. You would hope it has a little more style, a little more substance. So I'm not quite feeling how the styling looks at the back. But one thing I do like is that technically this is a Sportback. So that means it's a hatchback and you've got plenty of room in the back. All right, now let's talk charging. This car runs on an 800-volt architecture, which is pretty cool, pretty sophisticated for a car in this price point. It has a 100 kilowatt-hour battery, and Audi says that this can charge at speeds up to 270 kilowatts, which means you could charge it from 10% to 80% in as little as 21 minutes. That's pretty cool. The only downside is that unlike many other EVs on the market today that are switching to the new Tesla NACS type of charge port, this still uses the old CCS version, but it does come with an adapter. Now, in terms of power, the rear-wheel drive version that we're testing has 375 horsepower. Audi says it will do 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. Its EPA-rated range is 370 miles for this car, 392 miles with the optional Ultra package. If you add Audi's optional Quattro all-wheel drive system, it adds a second electric motor. It gives you 456 total horsepower. It will do 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. The EPA-rated range is 333 miles on the standard version and 377 miles with the Ultra package. All right, now let's take a look at the interior of the A6 e-tron. Definitely some hits, but absolutely some misses in this car. We'll start with the screens. We have an 11.9-inch screen in front of me, a 14.5-inch screen for the infotainment system, and then because we're in a fully loaded Prestige model, we have an additional 10.9-inch screen for the passenger here. So lots of screens, that's generally pretty cool, but they're executed kind of poorly. For one, this infotainment screen seems to have a ton of pop-ups every time you turn the car on, and that just gets really frustrating as you're driving the car day in and day out. So we've got this screen here, we've got to approve that, then later, we're gonna continue as a guest user, and then we gotta hit this, we're gonna decline that. That's just a lot of screens every time you turn on the car. Kind of annoying. And then there's the climate control setup. If you've seen our videos before, you know this is a pet peeve of mine. You've got your climate controls anchored at the bottom of this screen. So no matter what is displayed up above, you're gonna have your climate control, except the fan speed is hidden behind a menu. So to change the fan speed, I've got to hit menu. You gotta wait for this screen to pop up, and then you can change the fan speed there. That may not sound like a lot, but we've been driving this car for a week, and it drives me nuts that every single time I wanna change just the fan speed, I've gotta go through that process. That's really frustrating. They should just have it built in here. Another annoying element about this setup is that if you have the navigation with a destination in it, and maybe you're about to take a turn and then you go to change the fan speed, it's blocking that entire screen. So it just seems like an unforced error by Audi. They just should have put the fan speed down below. I've also had issues with it not connecting to my phone. This has wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, but it doesn't always connect to my phone. That's frustrating. The satellite radio hasn't always turned on or connected to the actual satellites. Just this morning, the entire time I was driving to film the car, it was looking for the satellite signal. We're in Los Angeles. You think it'd be easy to find, so that's been frustrating. The screen itself is really nice. It's bright, it's responsive to your touch. The menus seem pretty well laid out, so I like that. And then passengers have enjoyed having their own screen here. You can connect another phone, you can listen to your own audio choices or put in destinations for the nav system there. So that's a nice feature. A couple of other things I like. The seats themselves, very comfortable. You've got really nice bolstering on the side. The panoramic roof doesn't open, but it does have an electric sunshade, which will close. That's pretty cool. You can also change the pattern on it, so you can open it back up or do different variations of striping. The kids have always thought that's a pretty cool parlor trick. And then this Prestige model has a really robust Bang & Olufsen sound system and then optional speakers in the front headrest. It's been pretty cool, really immersive sound. I've been loving that. But in addition to the issues we've had with this screen, there's also just the build quality overall, the materials of this A6 e-tron. Remember, this is a $75,000 car, but the materials and sort of the trim pieces, none of it really feels like it's worth that much money. You do have some matte wood that looks all right. It looks kind of cheap, kind of fake, but there's really nothing else that seems premium, seems high-end. You've got this flat black plastic. You'll see that on a car that's $25,000 today. It smudges very easily. So that's pretty frustrating, is that you get in this car and sure, it's got screens there and comfortable seats, but not enough to justify the $75,000 price tag. That's pretty frustrating. A couple of other goodies I have enjoyed. This has a really robust heads-up display that uses augmented reality, and so it will display on top of the road in front of you turn-by-turn directions for the navigation system or adaptive cruise control features, so that's been pretty cool. We also have a heated steering wheel and ventilated front seats. And finally, in terms of connectivity, we have a pair of USB-C charge ports and wireless smartphone charging down below. All right, now to the rear seats. And if you've seen our videos before, you know the drill. I put the front seat where I would have it if I'm sitting up there. I'm 6'1", so basically I'm sitting behind myself. And as you can see, I've got plenty of room, both for my legs, my feet, and headroom is good. And that's actually a nice surprise because this car does have that sloping profile. On paper, headroom is about the same as the Mercedes-Benz EQE and the BMW i5. Legroom is down a little bit, but like I said, it's definitely not a deal breaker. I've got plenty of room to ride back here comfortably. And then in terms of amenities back here, you do have some. For one, the seats themselves are pretty comfortable, so that's nice. It's not always the case in the rear seats. We also have our own air vents. We have heated seats back here, plus a pair of USB-C charge ports down below. And then finally, a really nice armrest. Finally, to cargo space, and this is one of the areas where the Sportback really pays dividends. You definitely have more room in this than you might in an actual sedan like BMW's i5. So you've got 26 cubic feet of space back here, and then the rear seats themselves are split 40-20-40. And if you fold those flat, you get a total of 40 cubic feet of space back here. That's pretty cool considering this is not a super huge car. So I'm loving that practicality built into this sedan. One other trick this car has up its sleeve, there is additional storage space built into the floor. This is a great place for keeping all the charge cables. All right, next up, driving impressions. And as I mentioned earlier, we are driving a rear-wheel drive version of this A6 e-tron. So that means we have 375 horsepower. I know the all-wheel drive version gives you 456, but I gotta say, 375 feels plenty in this car. I have not found a situation where it feels underpowered. I love the acceleration of this car. It's very smooth, definitely feels quite fast. So don't think you need to step up to the Quattro for that extra boost. Although I will say, for an extra $2,000 to jump up to that extra horsepower, that might be a nice little add-on, so consider that. Otherwise, this car handles really well. Remember, we're in a Prestige version, so that means it has an adaptive air suspension that won't be on all trims, but I really like it in this car. It does a nice job of keeping the car flat throughout corners, but it's also really comfortable. Sometimes you get these suspensions that are kind of jarring over rougher roads, but in any situation I've put this car in, it really responds really well, so I like that. I also like the steering has a pretty good amount of feedback. There are different drive modes you can put the car in. I'm in dynamic right now, so that's the most aggressive setting. I will say, I'd like maybe a little more feedback from the steering in this mode, but all the other modes, it's pretty good. And I have to say, that's an improvement over previous Audi models, so I'm liking that. Another thing I like is how Audi has tuned the regenerative braking in this car. If you put it into B mode with the gear selector after it's already in drive, it turns on the regenerative braking and it is really nicely tuned. It's not too strong, not too light. You can use it in daily driving, you can use it in traffic. It will bring the car nearly to a complete stop, but then when you're on a road like this, you can just pull your foot off the accelerator a little bit. The car will slow down just enough. I love how they've tuned that. It really adds to the dynamic quality of this car on a mountain road like we're on right now. What's also cool is how solid and quiet this car is on the freeway. You'll look down and maybe you're doing 100 without even realizing it. That's pretty cool. I will say there is a little bit of road noise sneaking into the cabin, but absolutely not a deal breaker. Overall, this is a very quiet, comfortable car to drive. The biggest downside to driving it though is visibility. The visibility in this car is awful. The A pillar is on the thick side, the B pillar also kind of thick, but then looking out the back, because it has that sloped profile, the rear window is really small. It's very hard to see out the back. Again, not a deal breaker, but it is pretty frustrating. All right, folks, there you have it. Our review of the first ever Audi A6 e-tron. Pros, well, we love the fast charging capabilities of this car and the fact that it has nearly 400 miles of range when properly equipped. Plus, what makes this car great can be had on the base version, so don't think you need to spend the $75,000 to get what makes it great. You can get it all on the $66,000 version. Cons, well, as we mentioned, the interior is a bit of a disappointment. First are the issues with the infotainment system and the climate control functions on the screen. That was frustrating. But then the overall quality of this car's interior doesn't match up to the $75,000 price tag. That's a big disappointment. Finally, we're just not loving the exterior styling at the rear of the car. It's just a bit of a letdown considering this is a German luxury electric sedan. So overall, this A6 e-tron is good, but not great. It's certainly going to do what lots of EV buyers are looking for, but if you are shopping in this segment, we definitely recommend spending some time in BMW's i5 or even its i4. You may find there's more to like there. So for reviews or listings of this A6 or anything else you're shopping for, new or used, be sure to check out CarGurus.com. And CarGurus now has a podcast called The Driveway, featuring yours truly and the rest of our great content team. Be sure to check it out wherever you get your other favorite podcasts. And before you go, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you can get alerts on all of our future updates. We'll see you out there.